Welcome back to episode 190 of the Life and Strive podcast. This is the Chicago Marathon weekend recap. Scotty was the only one of us that raced this weekend. He struggled with stomach cramps the last 11 miles of the race, ran 2:49. We talked about on this episode what he thinks happened, what he can do differently in his future marathons. We also recapped the weekend as a whole. Obviously, I went up with him, so I talked about spectating the race. I got to get lunch with some pro athletes on Saturday, which was really cool, and a lot more fun stories to tell. So hope you enjoyed the episode. If you do, please drop us a review if you haven't yet, and please leave a comment. We love reading them, and share with a friend. Love you, mean it. We'll catch you on the next one. When we're running through Norton Commons or the Pewee Valley area in Louisville, Kentucky, it's pretty easy to spot Mason Construction Home. The attention to detail, the quality, the stunning design, you can't miss it. It stands out. We aren't just saying that either. Our own co-host Scotty trusted Mason Construction to build his forever home, and he and his family couldn't be happier. Don't tell Scotty this, but we're at his house a lot because we love the home. He's all right too, though. If you live in the Louisville or Southern Indiana area and are thinking about building your forever home or doing a remodel, there is nobody else to trust with this project than Mason Construction. The link to their website is in our show notes. Click on the request information option and start the conversation about what your forever home could look like.
Because we have three different perspectives of what went down yesterday. And
one wasn't there, one was there, one was racing.
I was at my house sitting on the couch at 7 a.m. watching the broadcast, which was awesome. Ed Eyestone was on there, and it was just great having him on there and watching Connor come in to set the American record. Scotty was racing, and Chris was my primary source of information not being there after the broadcast in it. So like after the first, I don't know, the top American woman came in, the broadcast was essentially over. And so I just turned to Instagram Live on the Life and Stride podcast page, and Strieg was there basically narrating the whole thing.
Dude, I was getting some good gas from the new halls. They were like, "You're a natural at this," and I feel like I'm just like spouting out stuff. I don't like nothing's calculated here, you know.
No, you're keeping us up to date on the situation, like what mile marker you're in, who you've seen from the Life and Stride pod racing team come through, or Corf Edge Louisville. Like, it was great, man. It was awesome coverage.
Dude, Striegel, you would destroy like pro running broadcasting, like track, mid distance, long distance, like whatever. You would
Be
destroy.
great weatherman too, honestly.
I don't know. I don't know nothing about the weather, bro. But I do know a lot about pro running. I walked in that lunchroom with Jacob, and I was like, I know everyone in here.
And like, all of their times.
Yeah.
I want to hear about that. Honestly, Scotty, I think that Chris has the most interesting weekend of any of us. And I want to hear all the behind the scenes, but I want to hear about your race too. So do you want to start with your race and kind of what went down?
Do you want to just touch on a couple things pre-race, like maybe like the drive up and the BPN thing?
Well, my race is kind of depressing, so we could we could do compliment sandwich, we could go fun, no fun, fun, or we could just go no fun, fun, like get the bad news out of the way.
Let's just talk about it.
Do you want to talk about your race first, Scotty, or do you want to talk about anything else?
Yeah, I'll talk about it. Right.
Let's do it, bro.
Well, I'll start from the beginning, I guess. Trip was great. Had Wyatt Moss and his buddy Declan and Chris on the way. That was rowdy, very rowdy.
Oh yeah, does that count as Wyatt hitchhiking if he gets a ride with you?
It does. He said there's no rules.
They're not really. They've only hitchhiked like once, like actually hitchhiked. Like the rest of it is just like friends giving them rides.
Really? I didn't know that. That's crazy.
Yeah, they've only like hitchhiked. But most of the time, it's like a follower picking them up or like planning a ride.
Yeah,
It's basically like navigating extreme logistics.
They said one girl they rode with for 6 hours and she didn't say a word. So funny. That was a rowdy ride, dude. I was like definitely the only introvert in that car, 100%. So I was trying to stay up to date, bro. You know, it was tough. It was fun though, a lot of fun.
Incognito. Yeah. I don't know why. I need to stop eating this bar. It's very hard to chew. I apologize.
We're an eating podcast.
I'm done. It was good. We got there. We went to the expo. did a decent job of like staying off feet. Like I didn't walk around downtown. It was just like minimal, as minimal as I could. Got all my stuff ready. I was super prepared. Definitely the most prepared I've ever been. Eric, I think Cheston has told me to do this before, but a race morning list before you walk out the door, and that's been my problem in the past, is forgetting like something stupid. Like for Bayshore, I forgot like my caffeinated drink I normally take, the Inerza. And Striegel bailed me out there. You and Striegel did. So I tried to avoid stuff like that, and the pre-race list worked really well. So I was pretty nerve-free, and everything went well. I mean, like there was no corral shenanigans. Any like nothing close to last year. I mean, we like actually stood in line for the porta potty at like 6:40. And it was pretty quick, like 20 minutes. And then we had like 20 minutes before the crowd closed, before like there was a group of 4 of us, and got everything out of the way. And we were like, I'm good. And we just kind of stood in the corral, and it was fine. Just kind of like last year, but a lot less chaotic. What were you going to say, Strieg?
Did you find Zalman and Brad like before you got into the corrals? Were you with them at that time?
I found Brad. Zalman was already in there, and we found Zalman in the crowd.
Dude, shout out to Zalman for doing a shakeout run in Louisville the day before the race.
Yeah, at like 5 a.m.
Legend.
in Louisville, and then went to a track meet, coached a track meet, or a cross country meet. But, yeah, gun went off. It was. I talked with, kind of got to debrief with Eric quite a bit after the race. I didn't hang out with any groups after the race. We just went to pizza with me, Joe Greer, and Cyrus, Eric's video guy. Went and got pizza, and then just went to his house, pretty much. Just made it low key. He had some of his athletes over, and Ben Felton came over that night to his house, which was fun. Got to spend some time with him, get to know him a little better. Life and Stride athlete Will Hopkins was there. Had a great time, like getting to know him and his wife a little more. But
dude, Scotty is like so in with the influencer crowd. It's just like unbelievable. Like he was talking at the BPN shakeout, like him and Tony are boys, obviously, and then he went to the BPN team dinner. At the shakeout, he is in a group talking to Jeff Cunningham, the co-founder of Bandit, and Joe Greer. I mean, you're just standing there like, man, like what are they talking about? So, it's just like this guy's in, dude. Like Matt Choi knows him, like Jeremy Miller you talked to in the race, I think too. So, dude, you're in on the Runfluencer crowd 100%.
I don't know about that, but when I see a familiar face, I just want to go talk to him. But met some cool people at the shakeout. Met the designer of Bandit, which was super cool. What's her name?
It's got an interesting name.
It's like a Arid.
Yes.
She's on. Yeah.
Dude,
you're so right. You're like right around
like ARIDTH or something. Arid.
Yeah, Ardith. That's it.
I know, right there.
That's funny.
Dude, she looked like the designer too. She had like a really cool outfit on. I was like, man, just like she looks like a cool like New Yorker, kind of person.
She like styled a Bandit kit. It was
like a stylish way to wear a Bandit. Yeah.
She kind of told me a little bit about like the heart behind the Bandit style, which was cool. Had a great conversation with her and Joe, and yeah, so race was cool. Like
I wasn't out a little slow, didn't you?
Dude, I told Eric this after the race too. We were driving home, and I wasn't really in my feels. We'll get to this, but I was like, I don't think I can go for a PR and expect a PR at a major marathon. I talked about this last year, I think, or maybe beginning of this year. It is so hard. It is so challenging. Like my splits on my watch, my auto splits, like after I got out of downtown, were showing 5:57, and like at the Bayshore Marathon, like it was the same thing, and I was like hitting the mile markers on my watch, maybe like a couple steps off. I was very close. You don't have GPS issues, but then at Chicago, the mile markers were getting further and further and further and further away, and by the time like mile 14 hit, the mile marker my watch would hit, and it was probably 200 yards down the road before the mile marker would hit. So then I'm like trying to do math at that point, and I knew we were about at like 603 average, 604 average. My splits, Alex said, didn't come through the tracking app. I don't know why in the beginning, but
the start did not, but I think it picks up at after 5K. But yeah, the start was we didn't see you cross the start line, so we were kind of like, oh god, something happened. But
regardless, my half split was 119 to fast track, 119.30, like on the dot was my half split. Maybe like 119.28 or something, which I believe I split base short faster than that. I think I split base short 118.
were you with all like Brad and Zalman and Brad's buddy at that time?
Yep, we were all through a half together.
Dan. His name's Dan.
Dan is the man.
He is.
He was like, it was me, Eric, Dan, and Brad Pierce. Like,
Can I tell? Let me just tell a funny backstory on this.
Do it.
So, Dan and I, about a year ago, run Indy together, and this is me coming off the
recognized him.
race. Yeah, we ran Indy together with another friend of ours, and like the whole race packed up. There were like three of us. A guy named Andy from Indiana was also there, and it was just so funny because he randomly flew into St. Louis one weekend and like texted me. It was like, hey, like, you want to go for a long run? And I'm like, yeah. And so like we're on a long run. He's like, yeah, I'm a flight instructor for the Air Force. I train people down in Mississippi on propeller planes. They fly the big cargo planes for the Air Force. And I'm like, what? That's insane. That's so cool. And we have a lot of connections. He has family in Louisville, family in Florida. I have family in Louisville and Florida. He's like, yeah, you know Brad Pierce? I ran KDF with him. And I was like, yeah, I know Brad Pierce. Like, he's going to be with Scotty. And like all these connections happen. Sure enough, Dan's running Chicago and he's in the pack with Scotty. So I thought that was super cool.
no, it was great. Like,
Yeah.
Thank you for like helping make that connection, because he was super fun to run with. He was like making me laugh the whole race. He's from
he's
Texas,
great guy, great hang.
and this one dude on like a speaker, he was like, Texas forever at like mile 10, and Dan lives in San Antonio, Texas, and he goes, just like yells right at the dude. He goes, F Texas. He was just like, he was just being a complete goofball. Like, had comments about everything in the crowd.
He was he went to Florida and he played like on their practice squad for the women's basketball team, and I think Florida and Texas played over the weekend, and so he was probably all heated about that. Yeah. I think that's the context on that.
But yeah, that was a great time. It was a great pack. And then I looked at my heart rate. Now that I analyze it now, I think I know what happened, but who knows? I looked at my heart rate very beginning, and what I had been training at was like, I can run 5:55 to 6 like all day if my heart rate is at like 170, 168 to like 172. That's like my sweet spot. And I usually can just stick there and it doesn't rise. I've done it plenty of times, and in training and everything. And yesterday, it just kept climbing. It was like, I started at 171, which at Bayshore I started at 158. And then my second mile, I was like, my heart rate was about 5 to 8 beats higher per mile compared to Bayshore. I looked at it on the drive home, and it just kept going. One beat. It was like 171, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 180, 181 at mile 14. And then mile 15, I think it peaked. I think it went to like 183, 185. During a marathon for me, like, that's the land of no return. I can't come back from that. Which is usually around like mile 22 or 23 or something, and then you just, put your head down, pump your arms to the finish. But it was at mile 15, and I took a gel at mile 15. And I like started to get this cramp in my lower, like, right abdomen area, like not right below my rib, but a little lower, like almost to my waistline. And I was pushing it out, like trying to like work it out, and it would like subside and come back, like all within like about a minute or two. And by about 15 and a half miles, my whole entire stomach was like distended and like hard as a rock. I don't know what happened, but it was like fully cramped. I looked at Brad and I was like, I can't breathe. Like, I was like, I completely out of breath. I couldn't like move my abs at all, or my abdomen, or breathe at all. And he was like, "What do you need to do, man? Like, let's drop back." Like, because he was kind of hurting at that point. So I talked to him this morning on the phone. He was like, "Let's drop back a little bit." I couldn't even like hear him. I couldn't understand what he was saying. So I just watched them from like 15 and a half to 16. I just like watched them go out of sight. I think I was running like 8-minute mile by then, 7:30 or something. And it's something I've never experienced before. And then like 16 and a half came and it was like full carnage. I was running a 7:10. And all of a sudden, like a wave of vomit like came up and I like peeled over, which has never ever happened to me. I like don't vomit in anything. And like I did it once and nothing came up, and then the second time like a tiny bit came up. I like started running, stopped again, and like the cheering people on the side at that point were like, "You can do it," and they're like shouting at my bid number. They're like you'll be okay, and I'm like, oh gosh.
That's a tough spot to be in when like the crowd's like trying to like lift you up, you know?
Yeah, they're like,
we were
don't stop, don't walk.
we were like a half mile to go, and most people like you could see their hammy was just like a rock, like it was just locked and they couldn't move. And yeah, like at that point you're like yelling like, "Come on, man, like you can do it!" And it's like you don't want to be that guy that's like getting that kind of yelling, you know?
Yeah, you're like in so much pain. You're like, don't look at me.
Yeah, and man, it was definitely. I'm not in a weird way. I'm not really that upset. I think I needed that. I've had only good race results since I started running, essentially, and that one humbled the absolute crap out of me in so many ways. I got past it. It felt like I was in like a simulation, and it felt like I was in a dream. I was in the middle of the road for the rest. I had 11 miles left, and I was getting passed at a minute per mile faster by thousands of people, constantly just going around me. I never walked, so I was still like running, but I've never been for 11 miles. I got passed by every half second. It was just a person going around me.
Scotty, I just want to tell you, Strava has the feature where it shows you your run a year ago today. So a year ago today was the Chicago Marathon. And I had the exact same race, dude, last year. The exact same race. Like at mile 14, I blew up. I don't know what happened. And I just had 12 miles to go. And I was like, oh, dude, I just need to run as fast as I can for 12 miles with how I feel right now. And that's exactly what I did.
Yeah, it's
same race.
It's humbling and humiliating.
Yeah,
kind of. But there was one thing that was ringing in my head, and I talked to Danny about this. I think you're the only one I told. Called me after the race. I appreciate that. And Sabria, Eric's wife, we were like about to get in the car, me, him, and Cyrus. It was like 5 a.m. about to head downtown, and he was like, "Hold on, I'm gonna go give Sabria a hug goodbye." And he ran back inside, goes in, comes back in the car, and he was like, "That was funny." He was like, "She just woke up from dead sleep, like, sat up in bed and gave me a hug and just looked at me and said, 'Smile or you're done.'" And we were laughing about it. I was like, "How did you take that? Like, you're done? Like, you're not allowed to run marathons anymore or something?" He was like, "I don't know. Like, Andy Glaze says, 'Smile or you're doing it wrong.'" And that's kind of like it feels like a sillier way to say it, like kind of like happy-go-lucky, but this was like so intense. She just said, "From a dead sleep, smile or you're done." And that, I thought about that for 11 miles.
true.
I thought about that for 77 minutes. I ran a 1:30 back half and a 1:19 front half. And
What do you take away from that, from Sabria's wisdom there? Because there's a lot of different ways you can take it. What are you thinking she meant by it, or what do you take from it?
I took it as, great question. I took it as, like, seriously, like I preach this all the time on this podcast. It's just like one, find your perspective, and two, we do this for fun and we choose to do it, and it's a silly thing that shouldn't be our highest priority in our life, but we take it very seriously. But to my point, I'm just like, if I'm gonna make this like ruin my next couple weeks in my day and like not get to celebrate anybody else, like, I need to stop running. marathons for a while and just take a break. But I'm like, if I can smile through this and have fun and find a way to find enjoyment and be thankful for like everything I've gotten to this point, then I'm allowed to keep running marathons.
Yeah.
And that's what I took from it. So I seriously it was like humiliating to get past, but I was having a good time and I was able to like turn my music back on and like stop the self-pity after about 2 to 3 miles.
Yeah.
And then the highlight of my race, this was an extremely cool moment. And I'm glad I stuck it out. I ran like 6:50 to 7, which was like about all I had. And I see the green Corfetch singlet. This is our Louisville group. And it's Paige Voss, who's like one of my wife's training partners. One of Alex's only training partners other than Krista and a couple other people. And they are very similar in times to my wife, her and my wife. And she was probably about, I want to say, maybe 300 feet, 400 feet in front of me. A decent way, but I see her, and she was like gaining. She was like leading me. At some point, like my head was down, and she passed me, and I didn't see her. I don't know how that happened, but she passed me, and I see her, and I'm like, and I saw Colin's almond too. They were like right there, but she was like leaving Colin. This is like when Colin was like in hurt lock. And I passed Colin. I'm like, come on, Colin, let's go get Paige. Let's get her to the finish. And he didn't have anything in him. But at that point, I was like 10 miles in. It was a mile and a half to go. I was 10 miles in of running 7-minute pace. So like,
yeah,
I had like, every time I tried to push, basically my stomach cramps came back. So I was like, okay, at this point, I'm not going to like make myself have to go to the hospital after this over like running at 2:46 or something. And but I see Paige, and this was my kick, like my 0.2 26-mile in kick. I gave everything I had, and I sprinted. I looked down when my mile split hit, and I was running a 6:11 mile, as the fastest I saw, to catch her. And I finally caught her, and I like look at her, and she sees me. I give her a fist bump, and then I was just like, for about 800 is all I could do, because I was like, I couldn't breathe. My cramps were coming back, and my hamstrings and calves were cramped, and I was just like absolutely berating her with screaming. And I was like, you are not allowed to stop or slow down. I was like, I need you to just sprint. And I was just screaming at her to go. And she has a very different personality than me. She's much more quiet and reserved, and I'm not at all. So I was like, I wonder if she's enjoying this, or if she's probably like, get the frick out of here.
Are you a runner? Do you need running shoes, gear, apparel, more? If so, I got the scoop for you. Kencom's Running Store is the best place to buy any running supplies you need. Located in the St. Matthews area of Louisville, Kentucky, their friendly staff will take excellent care of you. If you are a newer runner and need help finding the right shoes, or you're looking to get plugged into the Louisville running community, this is where you need to start. If you don't live in Louisville, check out werunlou.com. We have a discount code and the link to the website in the show notes, and the shipping is free for purchases over $100. I promise you, Matt and team are the friendliest people you can meet. Don't hesitate. Get your running supplies at Kencom's Running Store and support an amazing local business.
Turns out it actually meant a lot to her, which was cool. She texted in a group afterwards, and she was like, huge moment of the race when Scotty caught me at 25 and like got me like to the finish, which I didn't. She got herself there, but she was like, that helped a lot. And then she went off, like, got 800 meters to go. But and Joe Greer was at like 25 or so taking pictures there at a really good spot, and like the last straightaway before you make a turn, and he got the moment on he got a picture of it. We posted on Instagram yesterday, but of us together, which was super cool. That was like the one spot that he got a picture of me.
So I saw that. That was really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a cool moment. And that was definitely the highlight of my race. Like, and I was actually, from the moment I bonked, I was like, people were passing me so fast. I was trying to find somebody like the last 5 miles that I could like latch onto, and like we could like work to the finish, and like, somebody that was struggling as well. And I was like, I'm just gonna keep getting past. Everybody's having a good day with me. But then I saw Paige, and I was like, this is it. So I gave it everything to finish there. But definitely learned a lot from that race. I think it was heart rate related. That's what I think. I don't know why, because my training didn't say that was going to be the case, but you're not guaranteed anything in the marathon. Like Chris has had great races and bad races, and Danny has had insane races and bad races. And this is, y'all have just been doing it longer. This is my first one where it's gone bad, to the point where it's like an absolute blow up. So definitely something I'll remember.
It's absolutely part of the sport. And marathons are hard. Marathons above 50 degrees are hard. I really think that the more I run, the more I really value that cool weather, those cool weather races. In Chicago, I mean, it's just kind of one of those in between where, like, if you're pretty used to sending it in warm-ish weather for running, then you're gonna do well. But I mean, that's just kind of a tough day you got dealt, man.
Yeah, if you look at Bayshore's weather, looked on my Strava this morning, it was 43 degrees at the start.
Yeah, all my best races have been raced where the start is in the low 40s or lower.
And if you look at Bayshore, most everyone had an insane day that day.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody's crossing the finish line, stoked. I mean, I think Kendi was like one of the only ones she had to DNF because she literally like tore her Achilles.
Yeah.
She hasn't run a step since Bayshore. Yeah, that's how bad it was. So
yeah.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. Like 50s, like, I mean, better than like nothing, but it's still not ideal. I mean, by the time you were finishing, it was low 60s, and like in the sun, it was warm.
Yeah.
Like I was sweating in my hoodie in low 60s when you finished. So, and you guys are exposed a lot on the back half, especially because you're kind of out of the big buildings in the city. So, yeah, there was some carnage yesterday for sure. Like, obviously, like the pros, what you said about the majors too is right. It's so hard to PR at the majors just because there's like so much time on feet. There's so much more logistics. Like, race like Bayshore and Indy, it's like you walk to the hotel, you're there. There's, the expo at Chicago is like massive, a lot of walking too. So,
it's like 3/4 of a mile just to like get, or a mile to get from the parking garage like into the expo.
Yeah. So there's a lot of like not ideal stuff about the majors, and like obviously the pros like run well because the pros are in a hotel right across the street. They get a bus to the start line. All their food is free in the hotel. They don't have to leave the hotel, so like their time on feet's nothing. But I mean, most everyone going for a time yesterday, struggled the last 10K or so. So yeah, it was just slightly warm at the end, and I mean the good thing is for you, like you know that your race like not going how you wanted it to was like not caused by fitness, right? Like there's no doubt you were in shape. It was just like weird stomach thing, going on. So yeah, I mean that's still like it's just one of those things you can't really control in the moment. Like there's probably nothing you could have done. It was just a weird fluke thing. But
thank goodness for the phrase "not my day," because sometimes it doesn't matter how good your training is. Sometimes it's just not your day, and you can chalk it up to that and throw it away and move on.
I've definitely had days where it's my day.
Yeah.
So have you, Chris. I mean, all of us at Bayshore, it was our day. That was a like one core memory I'll hold on to for a long time. Like that pod post Bayshore where all of us are glowing because we all had like a crazy race, right?
Yeah,
and
crazy, bro.
We were joking like, man, it would suck if one of us like had to blow up, and then two of us like had an insane day. But
that's true.
A lot to take from it. I talked to Eric on the way here, just talking through it, and there's definitely like a lot. He PR'd by 7 seconds, and he like upped his training like a ton, all to get 7 seconds, and that's like, we talked about that a lot too. That's hard as well. You expect like a little more than that. You're like, why is this worth it? And then he like got really emotional afterwards. You'll see it in his video, likely he was it in, and we were talking about like, what other thing as a male adult are you gonna get where you get emotional? Like if you join a soccer league or a baseball league, like you're not gonna get emotional or whatever. Like there's nothing as like an adult male that you're gonna work so hard at that like at the end your body is broken and you are so emotional. Like I can't think of anything else. Like maybe having a child, right? Like happy emotions, but other than that, it's really it's a really special thing, but it's also like incredibly cruel at the same time.
Yeah, I think like, marathons, because like if you're in good shape and you show up to a 5K, 10K, or even a half, like you can like pretty well predict what you're going to run at the start. If you're like a somewhat experienced runner, like you should be able to know like I'm probably going to run within a minute of this time. Like a marathon, you can like say that, but like there's just so many things that can go wrong over when you're running over 2 hours, like a hard effort over 2 hours. So it's like, yeah, it just makes it more special when like everything comes together on the right day. Like, because for all the bad days, everyone has bad days. I mean, like Rory like ran 206, but I believe he's had a marathon or two where like it went really poorly. Or I mean, Clayton Young, when he ran the trials for the first time in 2020, he ran like 220 something. Like, so it's like even the pros, like there's some really bad days too. So yeah, I think like those bad days that like everything doesn't go perfect, it just makes like those good days sweeter. But yeah, you just gotta like accept as a marathoner when you show up to the start line, like not every day is gonna go exactly how you want it to. It's very rare that happens. So it's just part of it. But that's why like we care about the marathon so much, because like like the mystery of it. Like you don't know what's gonna happen, right? Like because again, like in the shorter races, like I know within like a margin of error what's probably gonna happen today. But like in a marathon, it's like I really don't know, until like I get to 21, 22, and I'm either on a flyer or I'm cooked, and then it's like, well, crap. So yeah, that's what makes the marathon. That's why we care about it so much, because we don't run them all the time, and it's just like you just never know, So that's why they're so special. Yeah,
For sure. Strieg, before we get into like your experience, I want to hear about that lunch pro room. That was great.
Oh yeah.
Wanted to quick shout out to all the Life Stride athletes who ran and were there. A lot of them did really well. A lot of them kind of blew up, not a lot, a couple blew up a little bit, but still had a great attitude through it. Like super thankful. A lot of first marathons, a lot of first finished marathons for guys I coach. Super proud of them. Todd Banning, one of the guys I coached, he ran a 240. He's from Houston, Texas. He's like one of the only guys like from super warm weather. I mean, he trained in like 80s, the whole block. All of his stuff was in 80s. So he comes to this and he's like, I'm freezing. And he negative split by like 4 minutes at back half.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
So he ran like a 1:18:30 at back half. Absolutely crazy. Yeah. So proud of everybody I coached. And that was cool to see everybody kind of go to war on a day that
Todd, Dylan, Will, Mauricio, Terry. Who else?
Richard, Cole,
Yeah, Will
Brandon,
Hawkins, Ryan Garvey,
Will Hawkins,
Yep.
Dylan Pittman. Did you get Dylan?
Andy Murray,
And
Brad.
oh, go ahead.
Brad Pierce.
yeah,
Oh yeah, Brad Pierce.
great job. Great job,
Seven
Life Stride Racing team.
Dude, I gotta shout out Will Hopkins, bro. So this guy, his mile, I think 25 split was like 8:20, and that left him with like a 6:40. He needed to run like 6:40 something or low, or like 6:30 high to break 3. And like, if you're running over 8 minute pace, mile 25, like it's probably not looking good, right? To like break 3 minutes if you're like struggling that bad. Dude, this dude summons a 6:20 mile out of nowhere and runs 2:59:40, like like with 20 seconds to spare. Like, so we kept waiting for him. We are like, oh my gosh, like it was like really close. We were at 800 to go, and we saw him, and he was fired up, and he was moving good, and we were like, oh my gosh, he might do it. So that was like unexpected for sure, to like just like to go from 8 minute pace to 6:20 is like unbelievable. So yeah, that's just like that's some mental fortitude right there, man.
That's
really impressive.
It's probably the most impressive performance is Will Hopkins' mile 26, the Chicago Marathon yesterday. I mean, that was up there with Connor Mance setting the American record.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, just like first sub 3, like just the fact that it's like his first time breaking 3, and he like cut it that close, and he got on the like on the good side of it. It's just like
yeah,
legendary stuff, dude. But yeah. So after the BPN shakeout, I was supposed to go to lunch with Jacob Thompson. I was like trying to find a place near his hotel because he paced the whole women's American, like the first place American female. He like paced her literally all the way to the finish, start to finish. And so I didn't want him to have to walk a lot. So I tried to find a place near his hotel, and he was like, "Dude, like I think I can get you into the pro lunch. Like they don't care." And but so like we go there, and no one's checking like the what's it called? Like they had like necklace things on.
Lanyard.
Yeah, like a lanyard saying like pro field or whatever. There's no one like checking him or anything, so I just waltzed in with him. And he was like, if anyone asks, like just say you're like my training partner. That'll be cool. And I was like, all right, like that's fine. So we like, got food, sat at a table, and I started looking around. Pretty small room, like a kind of a conference room. There's probably like 10 tables. And at one of the tables is like Connor Mance and like all his BYU buddies, like all the guys that train in Utah. Like Kara D'Amato was there too at his table. And then there's another table, like all the African guys were there. So like Jacob Kiplimo and John Career were sitting together, which I thought was funny because they were kind of like the two competitors to win. I don't even know if they speak the same language in Uganda and Kenya. I have no idea. So, but that was like cool to see them there, and they were just they kind of eat weird. Like there's some videos going viral of John Career putting like 10 packets of sugar in his coffee or in his tea at the lunch and dinner. Like Clayton Young posted it, and he was like, "John, what are you doing?" He was like, "I just love sugar, man." But and they're like putting marinara sauce on their rice and stuff. Is
Jacob sent us a picture in a group text that was like, "This is John Career's breakfast before the Chicago Marathon. It's 2 slices of white bread with jelly. It's a jelly sandwich, half eaten, and then it's like a little bit of rice, maybe a cup, probably less, half eaten, some leftovers on the plate, and then just like a wad, just like a heap of empty Domino sugar packets next to like a styrofoam cup."
Yep.
It's like, well, all right, that's the breakfast of champions right there. That guy ran what, 2:04 at Boston and like broke the course record.
Yeah, he's like a 202 guy, and like Clayton Young asked him in a video, he's like why is that, like for a fueling thing or what is it? And he was like, I just love sugar. So like that's an interesting point. Like people think that like the like African guys are like so dialed on everything like scientifically nutrition, and it's like they're really not. They're just, I mean, like I'm sure to an extent they are, but like the Americans probably like think about these things a lot more than the African guys. Like the African guys are just extremely talented and they train like absolute animals. But I mean, that just goes to show like you probably shouldn't be putting like 10 packets of sugar in your like tea, like and there was like no calculation in his head like of why he was doing that. He was just like, I just love sugar, So, but so it's just like I don't think they're like as dialed on everything as like people might think they are. It's like they're just like extremely talented. Like the winning guy ran 155 miles a week. He said leading up to the race, like they just train like animals and they're super talented. So that was funny.
Kiplimo won, right?
Yeah, Kiplimo won. They
202.
won out really fast and he blew up a bit. But yeah, after lunch, Jacob was like, "Oh, Rory's got some people in his room watching football. Do you want to go up?" He said we can come in, and I was like, "Yeah." So we like, went up there, and Rory was in there, and a couple like his coach John Green, Nico Montanez. He's like a 209 guy, and his wife was in there too. Rory's wife, she was really nice, and we just like hung out for 30 minutes. And what was funny, kind of behind the scenes here, like what is a marathoner doing the day before the race, or what all these guys were doing? The other two guys were pacing the women's field, but they were writing plans for the runners just like we do. So yeah, so like day before the race, they were on their computers on whatever website they use, and they're writing plans for the runners. So they all coached about 30 people, and that's what they were doing. So it's pretty funny.
That's amazing.
Dude, shout out to Rory. I texted him at 5:30 a.m. the morning of the race, like an hour 40 from the gun for him. And he texted me back with an hour until he literally started. And he said, "Give him hell." Like he is like so nice and so nice to us. And I don't know, I was just in the car with Eric and I was like, I'm gonna give Rory a good luck text. And I was just like, let's go. And it was cool for him to text back. Like I did not expect to text back at all, but he texted me back an hour before he started his race. Probably the race of his life.
Yeah.
But
Dude, I'll tell you what, like seeing the pros out there, like it's obviously you watch them on TV and stuff, but like seeing them live in person is like when they're racing, it's like pretty freaking like it's really cool and just like inspiring too. Like just seeing them in the flesh, it's like, dude, they are like it's just like another level, like the fitness level, like how smooth they look running 430 miles. Like if you like look at them, it looks like they're running like 6 minute pace. But just because like the comfortability of their like expressions and how they're moving, it's like truly impressive. Even like Rory and Mance too. Like when I saw them at mile 8, just like cool, calm, collected, and they were flying, dude. So it's just like seeing them in person. Like if you haven't gone to watch like a highly elite race before and like spectate it, I highly recommend it. It's just like it's really special to like see live. Just these guys like and like their peak fitness, like going for like really fast times because it's just like another level that you like can't really like you see it online, right, in videos, but it's just like when you see it in person, like you really understand like the level these guys are at. So that was really cool. And um I thought like going to the race I'd be like pretty bummed out not to be running, and of course I wanted to, but spectating was like just as fun, dude. Like it's really freaking fun running around the course yelling at people, and just like when people like when they run by and they like recognize you and they see you and like their face lights up and they get that like little boost for a second, that's like, oh yeah, that's the best.
So good.
So, yeah, I saw.
I loved seeing you, dude. That was the highlight for sure.
Yeah,
You're screaming. Screw was like losing his voice. He was screaming so loud.
yeah, dude. I usually don't yell that loud. So
You were, dude. Yeah, I was getting Clayton Youngwife vibes from you out there.
yeah, dude, I was going nuts for you guys. Yeah, Thunder was too, but I lost my voice a bit. So but yeah, it was fun being on course. Like it was a great time, and yeah, it's just tough. Like like I was saying, I think I told Scotty earlier, like it's tough. You gotta start making decisions at some point in the race because the pros are 30 minutes ahead at a point, and then we got some guys like 20, 30 minutes behind Scotty, 45 minutes behind Scotty. So it's like I had to start making decisions. Like, okay, who do I see here, and then have to leave, go to the next spot. So that was me and Pender were having to make some tough calls. I'm like, not waiting to see people or waiting to see some people. And we ended up only seeing the pros once because we like needed to make sure we saw some people. So, yeah, it's tough, like, logistically too, to figure that stuff out. But I think we did all right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The live was quite fun.
I was dialed into that live stream, dude. You did a great job.
Dude, I heard about that. Striegel, I wish you would have posted the live stream almost. Because you can post those like
yeah, I thought about it. So your brother actually joined me live for a bit, Scotty. I don't know if he told you that, but
No, he didn't.
yeah, he requested and he was like, add me in here. And he was like, we're about to go to church, but I'm just like tuning in. So he was on the live with me for a bit. And then Danny, your dad kept requesting to go live with me, but I wasn't sure if he was like, I wasn't sure if it was like an accident or something. So like or if he was serious. So I was like, I didn't accept it, but I feel bad if he was like trying to, but he kept requesting it. And I was like, should I get him on here or not?
That's so funny.
That would be comical.
It is probably a good thing you did not.
He was locked. He watched like the whole thing. Like I asked like who's been on here the whole time I've been running from like this point to this point, because I had like a 2 mile run in between spots, and he was like, I've been here the whole time.
Would you like hold it out while you're running?
Yeah,
I was like talking. Yeah,
I was talking. Yeah,
Dude, I bet you, Striegel, you are like the best like rambler when it comes to like
Strieg, did you have any like pro interactions at the lunch or anything, or like anything? I guess like John Graham's kind of a cool one.
Connor came over and talked to Jacob for a little bit, like right next to me, but I didn't say anything.
What they talk about?
Connor just came up to Jacob and he was like, "Hey man, like you racing tomorrow?" And Jacob was like, "No, I'm pacing the 220 group for the women." And he was like, and Jacob just said good luck, and that was it. But I mean, he was like right next to me talking to Jacob, so that was cool.
That's cool. Yeah, by the way, I saw Jacob. He got quite a bit of airtime because he paced Rogers, who won. She was first place U.S. Female. And at the finish line, you see her kind of come through the finish, and Jacob peels off in the back to kind of like give her airtime. Like, he lets her go ahead and she's front and center in the camera. And some dude just comes crashing through the finish line, cuts her off right in front of the camera, and just face plants in the pavement. It was so funny to see on the broadcast.
One of the funny moments too, we saw this guy 3 times. He like pinned his bib to his chest, like no shirt, And I was like, that is like some
Yeah.
crazy behavior right there, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that the real winner of this weekend was Joe DJO, the artist who sings Back in Chicago, because
Yeah.
it is on every single Instagram post, reel, everything. And that song, you can't escape it the day after Chicago.
I'm not even mad, dude. I love that song, so I'm
So
not
shout
even
out
mad about it.
to what's his name from Stranger Things who sings that song.
Yeah, when I found out it was that guy, I was like, no way. But it was cool. Like last thing I'll touch on is like we met a ton of Life and Stride fans too, which is always just like, like when we're recording, like right now, like it just doesn't seem like I don't think about like how many people are gonna listen to this or anything, right? It's so like no one could listen to this and I'd still be like having fun just talking, but uh like I'd still want to do it probably. But it's just like when we go to races and like people come up to us like, hey, look, love the pod, and it's like, they're like, I was listening to it today. We had a bunch of people say that. It's just like, I was like, what? Like, is this real? So that was cool. Just a lot of really like positive podcast interactions. So um, it's funny too, because like pretty much everyone's like, yeah, I found you through Eric. Like I listened to Eric an episode with Eric, or he was talking about you guys. So we owe a lot to Eric for sure. Like he's a a lot of his fans have come over to us as well. So shout out to Eric for that.
Sweet, man. Well, final thoughts on the weekend for you. Just as a spectator doing Chicago, would you recommend, if you have some friends, to the listeners, if you have a friend running Chicago, is it worth the trip to go as a spectator?
100%. The only thing is I would not recommend getting like a hotel like close to the race if you're not like spending that money if you're spectating, because my hotel is a bit pricey for sure. But besides that, I mean, yeah, like Chicago is like really fun city to visit. City's absolutely buzzing. Shakeout runs are fun. Just plenty to do that weekend, and yeah, like it's pretty easy to get around on the subway system there. It's like $2 every time you hop on. So super easy to get around. Yeah, highly recommend. 10 out of 10. If you got some people watching, I would definitely go to the Chicago Marathon. I mean, same with Boston too. Like, if you can go to a major at some point just to spectate, highly recommend it. Highly recommend it.
Sweet. Scotty, closing thoughts on the weekend?
Not really. I got a lot to think about on like training and stuff, but I'm just gonna take a little bit and come back with definitely fire, but like a little bit of anxious fire because I don't want that to happen again. But yeah, we'll come back and keep rolling. During the race, you're like, I'm never doing this again. But I didn't really have those thoughts, but I was just like, man, this is not fun, and I don't want this to ever happen again. But that's definitely what we signed up for that potential. So I learned a lot for sure. Very humbled, and I think it's good to be humbled.
Scotty, I think you reacted very well, like pacing Paige and just like, lifting other people up that had good races and stuff. It was, you're a good sport about it. So that's great, bro. You practice what you preach for sure in terms of like, acting a certain way when the day doesn't go how you want it to. So
what's all this for, anyways?
Yeah, it's just for fun. Like,
yep,
exactly. Like, is my life going to change if I ran 236 or 249? Like, nah. But
yeah,
I might be a little happier about it. But besides that, like, so that's
it's for Saturdays at 6 a.m. at Seneca, and it's for Norton Commons morning runs, and it's for weekend trips with the homies going to Chicago and Bayshore and Indianapolis. That's what it's really for. So
yeah, I'm stoked for Indy.
Yeah, Indy. Yeah, we're planning a shakeout at Indy, finalizing that stuff. But I think SWIFTWICK's going to be there, right? So, or we'll have some SWIFTWICK stuff at least, and then should have a group of 40 or 50 if I had to guess. So, stay tuned for that. We're gonna have a big show in there.
Let's go.
Hopefully more.
All right. What episode is this? 190?
I think it's 190.
All right.
Pretty
live same day. Drop it same day. So, love you, mean it. We'll catch you on the next one.
Peace.
See you, boys.
See ya.